to be reduced to 800 pages.
He gave us when he was aspiring to this office. Yeah. He told us that he has a blueprint on how to manage Nigeria. His party also told us that everything that is required to really manage this country successfully, they already have it at their fingertips. For somebody to be now there for since May 29, for God's sake, a month plus, and then you still say you are reading the books, I don't think that is the proper way to go. Because the enormity, the problem that we have in this country today, the challenges that we, especially in the area of security, ought to have made the president hit the ground running. That is my point.
Now I want to say this. One of the key areas when he was campaigning was on security. And I think on that
area now he has failed woefully.
On that,
no, it's too early.
The issues are very clear.
The issues are very clear,
Mr. Egbe. Let me give you good examples.
The president has met with...
Let her finish up.
All right. Okay. The president has met with neighboring countries. He went to Chad, he went to Niger, he spoke, I mean, he even went...
Jonathan was also doing those junketing.
Yes. These are the first thing on ground when you get into power. As far as African Union, and extended it to the G7, even to United States. Obama, the president of United States, has invited him to the White House. Part of the discussion is basically
are also confronted with insurgency just like Nigeria is having. America even has more cases of insurgency at its hand. Has it come over to Nigeria to say
not
or to come and ask
not
for help?
Like Nigeria.
In fact, they had to run away from Afghanistan when they could not overcome the insurgency there. So how is Obama or any of these countries that Mr. President is visiting? How would they help him?
You forgot.
I totally disagree with you that any help from
the world is increasingly becoming a global village.
You see a direction in which homegrown insurgency is only solved by homegrown solutions. For anybody to now say he's looking outside Nigeria to find a solution to insurgency, especially from countries like America that are not able to solve his own problem, I don't think that is the way to go. The president is just junketing and wasting time, and he doesn't seem to have a clue as regards the direction he should take regarding this insurgency, especially security.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
She said something that he got notes, 8,000 pages, and they had to be broken down just a day to inauguration. Notes that had to do with the entire country. Yeah. So he needed to be briefed. That's what you're saying.
That's right.
So why do you expect?
6,000 pages.
Did you expect him to
computer processed documents?
Did you expect him to, having read the notes, just run in without getting a brief from the the permanent secretary, which is what she said he's getting?
I happen to have worked in
government. But you know, this whole thing is not just a federal thing.
So I have an insight.
The states also have.
I agree. Let me give you my insight. I happen to have worked in government because I know the dynamics and that the government operates and all that. When those voluminous documents are submitted, hardly do you find any of these executive arms of government, either president or governor, reading through most of those documents. Most times they write paper. Most times they write paper.
Hold on. Did you hear that? He said they hardly read those documents. This is like a different case here.
It's a different case. Because
I don't think so.
He has a transition committee.
When I was in secondary school, by the age of when I was in secondary school, those voluminous books of 1,000 pages, and it doesn't take me up to 4 days to finish them. So a man of his age who has had opportunities and all this worth of experience, must it take him 2 months to read?
Now there's a question I want to ask.
Okay.
People are so anxious that ministers should be in their offices.
Exactly.
Now, in the last 16 calendar years, we've had a democratic rule and we've had ministers. How have government fared with ministers in office in the last 16 calendar years?
I agree with you.
You are talking, this is just 1 month.
2 years are better than 1.
Yes.
If he has had the opportunity to jojo and brainstorm with those ministers, and he probably will be getting better results in the area of insurgency. Imagine if he had the Minister of Defense, for example, if he had the Minister of Home Affairs and all that, we probably wouldn't be seeing much of the activity of the Boko Haram the way we are saying. But because he has had to rely on his own capacity to think out the problems and all that. See the problem we are facing, regarding the insurgents from the Boko Haram. The last few months of Jonathan's administration in those places, we saw less activities from the Boko Haram. But look at what we have been seeing the recent 1 month. And that is because this man has refused to appoint minister to assist him in doing the job.
a lot of people will disagree with you on that one.
Well,
I really disagree. Because you now said that in less than, if you had the defense minister.
For just one example.
For just 4 months. Now we've had defense ministers in the past. And of what effect did they have on Boko Haram insurgency? Did that reduce the attack, or did that
The last few days of Jonathan, we saw
that was in the last few days.
Control
that was in the last few days.
Of the Boko
That's
Haram.
right.
But that seems to have been frittered away, that opportunity to really suppress and then get rid of Boko Haram from our shores and all that. It seems that Mr. President is frittering it away with his lethargy and lack of action.
Again, I ask, this is my own side.
Yeah.
You say Mr. President has filtered it away.
Yes.
But I'm saying practically all the states have not appointed anybody. No cabinet. Are they also looking at notes? Some of them are returning. Some of them are not fresh governors. Are they also looking at notes?
Like Lagos State and some other states.
Osun State, for example?
Osun State. You know, most of them have not. And perhaps they are waiting for Mr. President to get his ministers, and they are also trying to emulate
we must also remember
the president.
That it's a constitutional
one thing is certain. The foundation,
to have a
they have to get it right.
It's mandatory.
You have to get it right from the beginning, because you have a price to pay if you do not put the right people in the right places. Okay. You have a big
point, let's just go on a quick break. We'll come back and continue this conversation. Please don't go away. Welcome back. Wale Bello says it's better to have a late but effective cabinet than having a mismatch of appointees and appointments. Larry Ajiboye says slow and steady makes the race. The change has already started but not being noticed. Electricity, EFCC bailout for state. Bizi says, indeed, President Buhari has been there, done that before, and not forgetting the APC painted a picture of swift action. And Umar Mohammed says, I think the cabinet shouldn't be like those Jezebels in the previous administration. That's why President Buhari is taking his time. He's buying your thought that the foundation has to be right.
It has to be right. But it cannot just, it will be counterproductive if we should just fix jobs for the boys and girls. We've had a lot of personal assistants, ministers of state, so many of them.
Before we come to the legal side, the question that she should answer is, politically speaking, is this right?
Politically speaking, it is right to get the foundation solid. It is right, it is sensitive to choose the right appointees. Very right. Because if the political structure, if it is weak, if it is not strong, it will affect the economic system. The economic system,
the people that Mr. President will appoint ministers and special advisors are not coming from the moon.
Okay,
these are people he has interacted with.
The economic
and the party the campaign.
The economic system depends basically on the political structures. So if you do not get it right, if you can't get the foundation right, I'm saying it emphatically, that if you do not get the foundation right, you are going to run into problems.
How long does it take to get the foundation right?
It doesn't take Mr. President to work. He's not going to do it alone. He has to do it.
We must also not forget that he's not our friend.
And the team in that cabinet,
because when you look at the life of
must be men of integrity.
They have barely 3 years